Hello students, my name is Sumesh Sharma. I am working in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram, as an assistant professor in Computer Science department. This is our next lecture of web series of .NET. In the last lecture, we had done overview of .NET framework, building block of .NET, and features of .NET. I hope you have understood these topics very well. Now today we will discuss about namespaces and architecture of .NET platform. So it is first topic, architecture of .NET platform of today's session. So first of all, it is very important topic for the university exam, and diagram shows the architecture of .NET platform. So the .NET platform is an integral component of the Microsoft Windows operating system for building and running next generation software applications and web services. We already know the .NET development framework provides a new and simplified model for programming and deploying applications on the Windows platform. As you saw in the diagram, .NET is hierarchical, tiered and modular. Means the diagram is showing like a hierarchical model, like a tiered model. Okay, each tier of the .NET framework is a layer of abstraction. So .NET languages are the top tier and the most abstracted level. In last lecture we already discussed about common language runtime CLR building block in a building block section. So the common language runtime is the bottom tier, the least abstracted and the closest to the native environment before the operating system, according to the diagram. So we have some points in our architecture of .NET framework. So here we can explain them. So first one is source code. What is a source code? The programmer writes the source code in the language of his choice. We already know that .NET is a software framework in which many languages and the programmers choose any language according to his choice and write the source code in the language. So source code, what is a source code? The programmer writes the source code in the language of his choice like C#, VB.NET, JScript.NET and so on. Then the source code written by a programmer is compiled and converted into an intermediate code. All the codes of .NET compliant programming languages are converted into MSIL by their compilers. So here what is MSIL? So MSIL stands for Microsoft Intermediate Language, and in further slides we'll discuss about it. Okay. The second point is common language specification. We already discussed in last lecture about the CLS, CTS and CLR. But again we can a brief description about it. So common language specification CLS means it is a common platform that integrates code and components from multiple .NET programming languages. Means a .NET application can be written in multi-programming languages, we already know. So with no extra work by the developer. Okay, and CLS specifies a series of basic rules that are required for language integration. Okay, the next point is common type system, CTS. It defines the rules by which all types are declared, defined and managed regardless of source language. This means that type, like a data type int in C++ language, is the same as the type int in C# language, as both of these types are derived from the system object class. And CTS provides a base set of data types for all the languages supported by .NET Framework. This means that the size of integer and long variables is the same across all .NET compliant programming languages, because it is designed to be rich and flexible enough to support a wide variety of source languages. Okay. The next point is framework class library. What is FCL? So it is a collection of over 7,000 classes and data types that enable .NET applications to read and write files, access databases, etc. The FCL wraps much of the massive complex Windows 32 API for application program interface into more simple .NET objects that can be used by C# and the other .NET programming languages. The last point is CLR, Common Language Runtime. So it is the execution engine for .NET application because it provides the runtime environment. We already discussed in the last lecture. So it is the execution engine for .NET application. It also serves at the interface between .NET application and the operating system. In last slide we already discussed about hierarchical model of architecture model, in which it is at bottom tier closest to the operating system. And CLR provides many services like loads and execute code, manages memory and objects, handle exceptions, etc. The next topic is namespaces. So what is namespaces? Why we use namespaces? In a given diagram we have .NET namespaces, we have many namespaces. So what is namespaces? It is a way of organizing the vast number of classes, structures, enumerations, delegates and interfaces that the .NET Framework class library provides. First of all, it is a logical way to group related types as shown in diagram. Okay. So namespaces are hierarchically structured index into a class library which is available to all the .NET languages. So what is a .NET Framework class library? So the .NET Framework class library is a library of classes, interfaces and value types that provide access to system functionality. It is the foundation on which .NET Framework application components and controls are built. We already discussed that .NET is a collection of more than 7,000 classes, delegates, enumeration, something. So as the number of classes is very large and one requires to get at them in a logical fashion, the Microsoft .NET Framework organizes these classes into a class structure called a namespace. Okay, and Microsoft .NET uses namespaces as an organizing principle for the voluminous amount of routines, classes and other programming components contained within the .NET Framework libraries. The introduction of namespaces with the .NET Framework provides a powerful tool that helps to abstract logical capabilities from their physical implementation. So in namespaces we have some types. We already discussed before in light slides that it is a collection of more than 7,000 enumeration classes. So what are these? Here we can explain them. So first one is enumeration. So an enumeration defines a set of named integers. Okay. So enumeration are extensively used in .NET Framework because integers are value types Enumerations are value types too. That's why. And enums are a set of name value pairs that always derive from system.enum. It is a system file. The second one is classes. We have a basic knowledge about class. So classes are the most common type in .NET framework. Usually one creates classes to be used in the applications as a package of data and functionality. So string and arrays are example of .NET classes. The third one is structures. So what is structures? Structures like classes may include properties, methods, and even events, and they are generally smaller and simpler than classes. The most important difference between value types and reference type is the way that they are managed in the memory. Because structure is a derived data type, in which we can also say that structure is a collection of different data type elements. So the most important difference between them, value types and reference type, is the way that they are managed in the memory at a same time, at a same place. So structures also lack some of the more advanced features of classes, such as inheritance and extension. What is the meaning of inheritance and extensions? In further slides, in further topics, in last unit of this web series, we discuss about inheritance and OOPS concept in details. So basically inheritance means inherit the properties of superclass into a subclass. Okay? And structures are allocated on the stack rather than heap. Most important point. The next one is delegates. So delegates are the foundation for event handling in .NET. Because sometimes we already know that it is a collection of many languages. So to handle them, we have some doubts, we have some problems. So delegates are the foundation for event handling in .NET. The delegate is a function pointer. So what is a pointer? So pointer is the variable which can store the address of another variable. So the delegate is a function pointer that allows invoking a method indirectly. Allowed to active a method indirectly. So delegates are useful when one wishes to provide a way for one class to forward a call to another class asynchronously. And delegates have intrinsic support for forwarding a request to multiple recipients. Delegates are reference types, not a value type, reference data type. Okay, the last point in this slide is interfaces. Interfaces defines contracts or protocols to which a class must adhere. An interface is a named set of abstract members, and the abstract members do not provide an implementation. So interfaces are an advanced technique of object-oriented programming. Okay? Now I am going to explain the format of questions based on today's topic, so that you will get an idea that which type of questions come in university exam from this topic. So here are the questions, and the first one is, explain architecture of .NET platform. It is very most important topic related to the university exam, because architecture provides deeply knowledge about the .NET platform, how it is work, how the data is converted from this way to this way, because it is a hierarchical model. It provides step by steps calculation, evaluation. So it is very most important topic. The second one is explain namespaces. So this is the end of the today's session. Thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day. Hope you will watch my next video, in which I will discuss about Microsoft Intermediate Language, means MSIL, and data types of .NET, and also evolution of web development, history of web development. It is also most important question. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.